Blessings and peace, dear ones. I'm Chung Fu. Today I would like to really bring you into that inner place called the inner child, to remind you of the power that is within you, the power of your inner child. It's so important that you don't think your inner child is a weak, poor, abandoned, lonely place, even if that's what you do experience. That if there's a message coming from your inner child that says, I'm really upset and weak and afraid, I'm feeling lost, abandoned and hurt, that's because your inner child is so powerful it won't let you forget. It's all guns blazing, letting you know you need to come and pay attention in here. You need to reconnect with me, because if you don't, I'm going to withhold power from you, and I am the power within you. I live in the root center, in the sacral center. I am right down in the very roots of your being. And you all know, if you look out in nature, if you kill the roots, and if the roots aren't strong, the being will topple over. So knowing your inner child and loving your inner child and ceasing to see your inner child as a small, little, tiny, poor little thing is a really important part of your evolution. Wonderful sayings have come, through many different prophets and seers and leaders that tell you about the purity of the child within you and how necessary that childlike purity and innocence is for your spiritual well-being. And your spiritual well-being is your power, because you are the living spirit in this body. And if your spirit isn't well, your body, heart, and mind aren't well. And your spirit not being well means you're not basically aligned either to the earth or to, in that sense, the divine within you. You are the living spirit within this body, heart, and mind. And it is the alignment, the at-one-ment, it is the fact that everything is making sense to every level that gives you your power. What is power? And power really is where you feel at home, in a good place, where you know what's what, you can step forward in your life, you can speak up, you can be who you are. This all sounds very easy, but it's actually not. And how many people really in your life do you know who you feel are just flowing easily from the source of their being, who are happy, contented, and know they're on the right path, they're just doing what their spirit is inspiring them to do. They're in the right job, you could say, in the right place, the right time. These are all things we bring forward as affirmations because they are rare occurrences in your world. I'm not saying any of you are or are not in that place, but I am speaking to any part of you that does feel out of alignment. What does that mean? That means that your spirit can't be fully present for one reason or another. And those reasons are always to do with pain, trauma, fear, negativity of some kind that you have either had perpetrated upon you, or that you in some way can remember perpetrating and you feel bad about it. So your inner child is the wise being who knows an awful lot but can't necessarily say it all. That's why we say the inner child, because this child place is instinctive. It just knows. It knows what makes it happy. Your inner child will always want what makes you happy, joyous, free, expressive, powerful, everything that is, in that sense, loving, beautiful, kind. Your inner child, even if you say, oh no, my inner child's really bad-tempered and it says horrible things to me and, doesn't seem to like me. And yes, but there are reasons. If you will surrender and listen and ask, so why are you being mean to me today? Why are you saying horrible things to me today and saying you don't want to listen to me and you don't want to do anything I ask you to do? And why are you behaving like that? And you'll find out. You know, when you get into a dialogue and really listen to your inner child, you'll always come to a place of deep understanding about you and your life and what has been going on. Because your inner child's busy creating your life whether you know it or not. And if you've got a suppressed place in you of fear, pain, old wounding, abuse, if you don't go and meet it and really understand and hold that place and bring your love, that place is going to thrash about. It's going to cause all kinds of events to happen. It's going to attract things from the universe. So that's why you have to get conscious and get connected with your inner child. Because your inner child is how you get down and deep and access your personal power. Which is, in other words, how you get your living spirit presence right the way down into your root center. And until it's there, you could fall over any day. Being rooted in your earth center, in a part of you that's walking on the ground where your legs touch the earth, being present in your body, that is what brings you that sense of your power. Feeling good, feeling really quite simple, really not needing to, you know, impress anybody else, just feeling present and connected. This is a big statement, you see. Feeling present and connected. Do you feel present and connected? What is that for you? Each one is different. For someone, it might be playing a beautiful piece of music or listening to a beautiful piece of music. But it is connection with yourself as the divine presence, you see. Now, you may have convinced yourself that going to church and feeling the divine presence in a priest or some other person is, you know, that makes you feel at peace. And that will work for a while. That will work for a while. Because you have, in that sense, put your faith there. But ultimately, you know, if that person you put your faith in does something that shocks you or is absolutely clearly not of the spirit and not of goodness, then what happens then is you lose your faith because you put it out there and you can't do anything about someone else's reality. So what really matters is that you bring your faith back to inside you, to having faith in you as the conduit and as the connection to your higher self and to divine presence here and now in this body, in this moment. It really matters. And your inner child, you see, depends also on this dialogue with your mind, with your higher self, and needs that dialogue to be aligned so that your belief, your thought forms, your faith, your heart, your love, and your physical experience are giving your inner child that sense of unity and alignment. Your child is very simple. Think of a baby. The baby is at peace if the environment is peaceful, deeply peaceful on the inside. Your baby dwells still a lot in the worlds of light and picks up all kinds of subconscious frequencies going on in the family home. So you see, even in that external sense, the baby can often highlight difficulty and trauma that has not been yet met by the parents. The inner child sees, the baby sees. Can't necessarily express it, and there the trauma begins when the child cannot express, but I know you're not happy, but you're not telling me, and I can't do anything about it. And then this kind of traumatic place where the child learns somehow that as though the child has got to take responsibility for everything. And so it is that trauma comes to be in your inner child. And that is why, you know, we do a lot of work with you that goes deep into exploring the healing of that inner child place within. And those of you who've done that work, you do know how extraordinarily insightful and wise and connected and knowing your inner child place is. And once you have learned to simply accept and listen and work with that wisdom, even if it seems negative, you are all in a much more powerful place now. Because above all, dear ones, you have to know yourself. And whether your inner child place is positive, negative, or somewhere in between, or both, knowing and being connected with and dialoguing with and expressing what is coming forward from deep within you, which is the place of the inner child, the dwelling place of the inner child deep within you, gives you the strength, gives you a lot of confidence. Well, I know this or that about myself and I can deal with it, and every day I'm doing a little more to heal myself in that regard. When you take hold of yourself and you own your inner child and you continue on that path without judgment of knowing you will always have an inner child till the day you pass, when you might be a very, very ancient being, you'll still have an inner child, a wise place within, free, loving, knowing of divine presence, because that's the essence of your being. And until you leave this mortal coil, your inner child is your biggest ally, the biggest truth speaker, and is indeed the source of your personal power. Blessings and peace.